I grabbed my bag, packed all my stuff, got everything together, jumped in the car, and then I drove to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Not to partake in any reenactment, but an interview with the art of Lord Grimm. An interview 6 months in the making, finally getting a chance to bring it to you. This artist is bringing some of the newest, best work out there. Let's jump into the interview. What's up, everybody? This is Buck. We're here at the Gettysburg Battlefield Tattoo Expo, and we have the art of Lord Grimm with us today.
How y'all doing?
I have been trying to get an interview with you for 6 months. You and I keep dipping and dodging each other. Happy to finally get you, man.
Of course, happy to be here.
So, I know you're working on a big piece today. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's start at the beginning, man. Where did you get your start at?
It was about almost 17 years ago. October will be 17 years in Chicago. It was a neighborhood shop. I went in there, got a tattoo. It was a newer shop. Wasn't happy. Ended up getting into a scuffle. Out of spite, I sold my motorcycle and bought me tattoo equipment. Tattooed myself. Went into a older shop that's been around the neighborhood for a long time. And as I came in, I saw the guy that works there, and he had tattooed me before years back. Asked him about apprenticing, and instead of apprenticing me, they threw me to the wolves, and I started tattooing at that other shop. And that's how it started. I kept pushing.
Was the person who did your apprenticeship under pretty well known?
Wasn't an apprenticeship at all. They just told me what to do, how to make a stencil, and the rest I had to figure it out myself.
About how long did that take you to kind of get your feet wet?
A week.
Okay. Did you have any type of artistic background before?
Yes, I've been doing art since I was a little kid. I was real heavy into comic books and painting. Went to International Academy of Design and Technology and got a bachelor's degree in graphic design.
Are you ex-military?
Yes, I am.
How long did you serve, man?
A little over a year and a half. Didn't stay in long. Of course, young from Chicago, had a bad attitude when I was younger.
Okay. Understood, man. I mean, there's a lot of us out there that, not me personally, I was too fat to be in the military, but what would you say at the beginning was your style when you got into that whole thing?
When I really got interested in tattooing, before I started tattooing, portraits was real big. A well-known tattoo artist, I had met him once, and he looked at my artwork and told me, give up or push harder. And that's exactly what I did when I got into tattooing. I really wanted to be a realism color, a full color portrait artist, and that's what I do now.
You would say, though, that is where your focus is, but you're a walk-in shop, right? I mean,
yes, I am.
Doing
I do
everything.
every style.
Okay.
The first shop I worked in Chicago was called Flying Horse and became Classic Tattoo. And that was a very busy, super high-speed street shop. Tattoo, flash. We had all the stencils already made, sized up. We just grab tattoo.
So how did you wind up being from the Chicago area to where you're at now?
Got custody of my kids, and I wanted my kids away from how I grew up in the same neighborhood. Got with my youngest son's mother, moved to North Carolina, and I've been here for the past 12 and a half years in North Carolina.
And what's the name of your shop, and what's the town?
I'm at Bill Clayton's Tattoo World on Yadkin Road, off of Fort Liberty now, they changed the name, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Bill Clayton's shop has been there since 1986. It's the oldest shop in the whole county.
Wow, okay. So, and does he still own it?
He had passed away 2 years ago, but we've kept the shop alive, busting our brains, pushing tattoos, making sure that people know that the name is still there and the artwork is still there to keep coming to the shop.
Now, I know you do a lot of conventions, man, and this is how I'm able to keep up with you today, or catch up with you today, rather. How many tattoo conventions do you think you do in a year?
Let me see, starting from January, the end of January to now, I was doing 2 tattoo conventions a month, so every 2 weeks I was doing a show. This year, I missed a month and a half because my Jeep broke down in Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh convention, and I couldn't travel back and forth until I had put a new transmission in, but yeah. So I usually do 2 shows every 2 weeks, up until September. Then October I do 2 shows, and then I stop for November, December.
Take a little break.
Yeah.
I know at some point you had started up like a tattoo pro team. You're kind of in the rebuilding phases of that. If somebody was watching this, man, and wanted to be a part of that, what are you looking for, and how would they go about getting involved?
No addicts. You're about your work. You do artwork, and you want to make more money. My idea for the team that I want to build is being able to revolve our artwork, t-shirts, art prints, anything, and we come and sell it. We have our product, our merchandise, we have it there. That in itself will pay for our travel costs and the booth costs. So we're just making more money and not losing out at all. And we're doing it together. We get an Airbnb and stuff like that. You know, so, it's like more like a family. We travel together and stuff.
I was just gonna say, man, so more like a family type of situation. You know, what's next on your horizons, man? What do you feel like the next phase of your career is gonna go?
I have a few more conventions this year that I'm really looking forward to as well. I have an opportunity to do a change in scenery, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and take that. I have a t-shirt company that I'm starting off in the beginning of next year, and it's gonna branch off into doing men's clothing, which us men, when we go to a store, we have a very small section for clothes, while women have the entire store basically. I want to change that. I want more for us.
Do you ever have those ambitions of possibly owning your own shop? Or?
I had a shop for a while, but I had a lot of bad things. My health wasn't very good. I have lupus, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and Lyme disease, and I was hospitalized a lot because of it. Even took me out of tattooing for 2 years, but I jumped and went head right in. I got robbed, 25 grand, fired them, put a restraining, no contact order against them, and they got served. My house was broken into. And me being a single parent, I was raising 4 kids by myself. I didn't bring people around. So obviously 1 and 1 together, you could kind of guess what happened from there on. So to make sure nothing happened with my children and me and not go crazy, I sold everything, closed the shop, and I moved to Fayetteville. And I worked at Chop Shop Tattoos in Holt Mills for about 6 years, 5.5 years, 6 years, and I loved that place. It was like family.
Okay. Where do you see the tattoo industry going in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Right now, tattoo industry is going to be going through a cleansing. A lot of the COVID artists that popped up with COVID money and thought they could tattoo overflooded the market, and right now with the recession that's hitting, it's being thinned out. A lot of them are leaving and going to getting regular jobs. They should have gotten a regular apprenticeship like they should have and learn how to tattoo, go to school for art, be a good artist, and not jumping in trying to get money and burn a lot of people out.
Do you think that that's the biggest problem right now with the industry, that's spread too thin?
It was spread too thin, but with the way the economy has been hitting right now, a lot of people are not wanting to get tattooed. And it depends on the areas. Certain areas like Chicago, New York, LA, Austin, Texas, Pensacola, St. Augustine, places like that where there's more of a vibe, a culture, festivals, they're gonna put more money into getting tattooed because there's money revolving in the economy there. But in other places, it's not doing that well.
What about the industry would you like to see changed?
Stricter protocols on tattoo supplies being sold just to anybody, and I don't like that. If you're a doctor, you don't want your doctor supplies to be sold to regular Joe and Schmo. They're gonna end up hurting people, and right now in the tattoo industry, selling to just anybody, it's hurting a lot of people. A lot of people don't know how to tattoo. They're damaging people's skin, getting them infections, sending them to the hospital. It's bad all around, and it's like they lost the actual tradition of what tattooing was called.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a big part of my channel, is trying to do the history and to bring some of those traditions back into the foreground, which is what connected you and I.
Yes.
What do you think of the people out there that are not embracing the traditions and the history of it?
They're losing out. They're cutting themselves too short. There's a lot of history and there's a lot to learn from. A lot of techniques, tricks. I wasn't apprenticed fully at all. And I went and learned everything that I can along the way, meeting older tattoo artists, picking their brains, going to seminars, buying seminar videos and researching and pausing and rewinding. Buying books, how to build a tattoo machine, how to solder my own needles. I went and did all of that. Learned how to make my own ink for a while too, about pipic powder. Big old vats in the basement making it, you know, it was just a lot. Stuff that I should have been taught with an apprenticeship, and I had to do it the hard way.
I don't know about now, but I think there was at a time where it was hard to get an apprenticeship.
Yes.
People had to do what they had to do, and there's older guys that say that that's how they did it. I feel like, you know, your work speaks for itself. You have some amazing pieces that you've done, and we're gonna, show some of them to the listeners. You've got an amazing piece that you're doing today. What inspires you to do some of these pieces?
I'm always trying to do things out of the box, out of my comfort zone. I'll get into something and I'll try to be the best that I can, do the best tattoo I can in that style. And I'm like, man, I want to do that. I want to try that. I want to do this. I just keep on. I don't want to get stuck on one style. I want to be able to do everything because I have an idea of a back piece, and it's going to be a bunch of different styles all at once, but it's going to blend perfectly. I've been designing it for the past year, and every time that I think I'm finished, I'll take time off, look at it again. I'm like, nope, take this off. I want this here. I want that there. I want this style doing this. It's going to be crazy.
Okay. You're doing a bunch of different portraits, realism stuff, which you're good at, and that's your wheelhouse right now. But do you prefer black and gray or color?
I prefer doing color realism and opaques, true grays. I did a lot of black and gray for a long while, and I pushed hard for people to actually do color tattoos. And doing them so much, other people in the area had started seeing my work and getting more and more appointments for the tattoos that I really wanted to do. And then at a time, a few years back, I started doing conventions, and each year I was doing more and more and more, to the point where now when I go to a convention, people already know what tattoos that I do and they want to get tattooed by me. Usually get booked out months ahead before a show.
So that was going to be one of my questions for you today, is with these conventions and some of these pieces that you're doing pre-booked before you even get here. How often do you do tattoos that are just kind of walk in, boom, I want to get this done?
Last year I started just doing walk-ups at a convention. That's when the economy started changing really heavy, and I noticed it. I was one of the first people to notice it, and I paid attention to every little thing. And so I started having designs put in a book, and I really don't do that. I like to have, one design take on one client each day or 2 days in a row for the same client. But this time it's like a backup. I gotta have designs that I know people are gonna want, that people are gonna pick up, and they're not gonna think twice on it.
Right on, man. Is there anything I didn't ask you today that you feel like I should have asked you, or that you want to bring up personally about the tattoo industry or tattooing in general?
Join the APT. Sign the petition, fight against what they're trying to bring over here with the regulations for ink, because it's going to hit us really bad. Certain companies like Industry Inks have been doing everything possible to make great inks, and it's going to follow through with the guidelines. But once they do that in America, they're not just going to stop at the ink. They're going to get into every little thing that involves tattooing. And we don't want Big Brother controlling us. That's not the way to go.
The irony of that is, we just talked about that on our live stream last week. And here's the thing. People are speaking out against that are being sponsored by some of these inks. Mm-hmm. And they're owned by the big conglomerate that's trying to take over.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say their name because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. You feel as though that's where this is going?
That's another thing that's been bothering me. These big corporations, conglomerates, there's like 2 or 3 of them right now, and they're buying everybody out. They're supplying us with cheaper products, but they're selling it to us more expensive. And there's like 3 factories in China that are making everything, other than like how Cheyenne makes their stuff in Europe, stuff like that, and Stigma in Greece. But it's the same thing. They're just rebranding and reselling it to us in high prices. Just a few years ago, we were getting a box of cartridges for like $16 to $20, and now they're like $40, $50. It's ridiculous. They're damaging us. And with the inks also, I've noticed a lot of the inks were starting to get watered down, which is why I had to make a big jump to another name brand. And I'm happy I did.
I honestly feel like they're trying to push the mom and pops
out,
and the old school guys that are still using coil machines and whatnot out of the picture.
Mm-hmm. That's how I see it as well.
Okay.
But it ain't gonna happen. There's too many good machine builders still out there, and people keeping the tradition alive. I would still be using coil machines if it wasn't for my health.
Right on, man. I appreciate your time, dude. I know you're crazy busy.
You're very welcome. Thanks for
finally, hooking up with me and getting this done.
Man. We'll get together again.
Right on, brother.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click this link right here on the top left.